Hi, my name is Brando, and today I want to talk to you about some tips for using your new virtual reality headset. So let's get started. I wanted to make this video to talk and explain some things I've picked up while using my VR headset. And one of the very first things that I cannot stress enough is having a decently large play area. There's nothing worse than trying to grab for something only to run into a wall or hit something in the process. I recommend having about a 6 by 6 foot play area as a minimum, if not more. Now, a good rule of thumb is if you're able to lay down in any direction without any problems, you're probably good to go. Another tip I have is to go and grab a box fan or any other tower fan will do. Not only will this keep you cool while it's blowing on you, but it'll also help you keep oriented. If you have it facing towards the front of you and you turn around and feel it on your back, you know, hey, I should turn around, and it'll help you get reoriented. A problem that I've seen numerous times online is that people have smashed their ceiling fan lights out. I've had a bit of my own problem with this, not smashing out my light, but rather hitting a fan blade and hurting my hand pretty well. I've since learned to avoid any room with a ceiling fan, and you should too. But if you only have the area with a ceiling fan in it, just try and remember to not swing your arms above your head, and turn off your fan before you start playing, trust me. Have you ever seen one of those videos where they don't use the Wii Remote tether and end up smashing their TV by launching the Wii Remote into it? Yeah, I shouldn't have to say this, but please, please, please use the tethers on the remotes. Those remotes are expensive, and you don't want to have to buy a new one right after just getting it. A personal preference I have is to have a chair nearby, so if I start to get tired, I can easily sit down for a few minutes and relax and take a breath. It's also really nice during those intense games of Pavlov, and you just die and you have to sit there, so at least sit down and relax a little bit between the games. I'll be the first one to say this. You will get sweaty, and there's no doubt about it. Some of that sweat will unfortunately get on your lenses. Keep a microfiber cloth handy to clean your lenses when they get foggy or smudgy from sweat. Your headset should have come with one, but if it didn't or you lost it, you can easily find one in your tech or eyeglasses area at your local Walmart or other superstore. Don't think you can just use your shirt. You will scratch your lenses, and honestly, that's more annoying. So obviously, you've bought a VR headset, and that means you've heard the horror stories about getting motion sick while playing. And they're right. About half of everyone who tries VR will get motion sick when trying for their first time. So if you want to avoid getting sick, I have some tips that will help you be as comfortable as possible. Everyone just wants to jump right into those high octane games like Pavlov or Onward. But much like the saying goes, you have to learn to walk before you run. The same is true for VR. So before you learn to run around in those games, you first have to learn to stand in your room area. So let me explain what I mean. You get nauseous while playing VR when you're moving in the game and your brain and your eyes see it and understand it, but the vestibular system in your ears, the system that helps you keep balance, doesn't quite understand what's going on. So you're moving in VR, but it doesn't get it, so it sends a signal to your body essentially saying, hey, this guy's been poisoned and he's hallucinating. Let's throw up the toxins so that, we can stop hallucinating. And thus you begin to feel like you're going to be sick. You get that motion sickness feeling. And I can't stress this enough. If you start to feel that way, take your headset off. Take some time to relax. As with all things, it takes time to acclimate to something new. And some tips to begin to acclimate to VR games is to try some seated VR experiences first if you're real nervous. You can usually find them on the Windows Store for free, and essentially it's a movie on rails. If you've gotten through those with no problems, try playing a game where you stay in your play area the whole time. On the Oculus headset, First Encounter, the first thing that boots up when you get it, is a great way to start. A good replacement for that is the Lab on Steam, which is great as well. All those games, you kind of stay in the same area. You don't move around except for when you actually move as a person. My favorite game to have people play when first playing VR is Job Simulator. It's just so simple and easy to understand. Anyone can play it, and I've almost never had anybody get sick from it. So that's a good reputation. After getting those room scale games down, try a game that has teleportation movement, such as Budget Cuts 1 or 2 and Arizona Sunshine. These are both great examples of where to go in your VR experience next. When turning in these games, try and physically move rather than using the joystick movement. And if you want to try using the joystick turning, check the comfort settings and see if there are options to turn on a vignette setting that will obscure the field of view to help with getting sick. And if you're still having problems and nausea while playing, I've been told by people that drinking ginger ale will help with motion sickness, and I know someone who drinks it while they're playing VR and it helps them quite a bit. So if you're still having issues, go ahead and get a bottle of ginger ale and see if that helps you out. To finish up, here are a few small tips that I've personally found to be useful. If you have LED light strips, avoid using them in the room that you're playing VR. And especially if you're using inside out tracking, the lights on the strips can look very similar to the lights on your controllers, and it'll cause your controllers to go all wonky and start flying off in weird directions. Trust me, it's happened while I was playing Pavlov, and that was not very good. Another one is try to avoid facing your computer screen. Accidents happen, and sometimes things get real exciting in VR and you lose track of where you are. The last thing you want to do is punch your computer monitor. Honestly, it's probably best you hit something else. And if you want to show off you playing a game to your friends or family and show them what VR is like, use an application like Voicemeeter. What it does is it splits the audio from the headset that you're using to a TV or headset that you have set up. I do this personally when I'm playing VR and my girlfriend wants to watch too. That way you don't have a problem with them not being able to hear what's going on. And if you happen to be using, your headset and a pair of headphones that have a mic, you can talk through the mic and not have the muffled effect from your headset. And that concludes my tips. I hope that you found some helpful. And if you have other tips that maybe I didn't know about, feel free to post them in the comments. I'd love to see more tips and help more people. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Norman. Hey. Hey, you helping out Dad? Hmm? Norman? What's up, buddy? Norman?